Prologue. Elias GravenMoor, the name that stayed behind. Before there were stories, there was a silence that felt watched. It lingered in places people passed through without thinking, old houses, forgotten roads, rooms no one used anymore. The kind of silence that did not rush to be filled. The kind that waited. The name Elias GravenMoor did not arrive suddenly. It surfaced slowly, like something remembered rather than created. It belonged to the spaces between events, the moments after a door closed, the breath held too long in the dark. There was once a man who believed fear could be outrun. He packed it away in boxes labeled memory, imagination, coincidence. He moved forward, changed addresses, changed habits, changed the way he spoke about the past. But fear is patient. It settles into the floorboards of the mind. It waits inside unfinished thoughts. It remembers what was not resolved. The first story was not written. It was recalled. A sentence that would not stay silent. An image that returned uninvited. A feeling that pressed gently, insistently, asking not to be escaped, but to be understood. Elias GravenMoor became the name for that understanding. Not a mask, but a threshold. Under this name, darkness is not celebrated. It is examined. Fear is not glorified. It is followed to its source. The stories do not ask the reader to believe in anything beyond the page. They ask only that the reader remember what it feels like to be alone with a thought that knows their name. These tales are not warnings, and they are not confessions. They are echoes given shape, places where unease can exist without explanation and dread can breathe without permission. When a story ends, the silence returns. But it is no longer empty. It knows it has been heard. The House That Remembered Me. A short horror chapter series by Elias GravenMoor. 18+ mature fiction. Chapter 1. The Key That Should Not Exist. The key arrived in an envelope with no return address. It sat inside like a thought I did not remember having, heavy, cold, and familiar in a way that unsettled my bones. The metal was darkened with age, its teeth uneven, as though filed by hand rather than machine. When I touched it, I felt a pressure behind my eyes, the faint echo of standing in a place I had sworn never to return to. The envelope bore only my name, written in a careful, patient script. I knew where the key belonged before I stood up from the table. The house had been condemned 30 years ago. I had watched it burn. I remembered the sound of the roof collapsing, the way the fire had eaten the windows first, like hungry eyes. Yet the key was warm. And keys only stay warm when they are still being used. Chapter 2. A House That Breathes. The house stood exactly where it always had, untouched by time or flame. Its windows were dark, but not empty. The porch sagged under its own weight, groaning softly as I stepped forward. The front door bore the same scratches I remembered, claw marks from something that never fully left. The key slid into the lock without resistance. The door opened inward with a sound like a sigh. Inside, the air was thick, damp, and smelled of old wood and something faintly copper. The walls were lined with photographs, all facing inward toward the hallway, as if the house had been watching itself. Then I saw myself. Not as I was now, but as I had been, standing in rooms I did not remember entering, smiling at moments I could not recall living. The door closed behind me on its own. The house shifted, a slow, deliberate movement, like a body rolling over in sleep. Chapter 3. The Room with No Corners. The hallway ended where it never had before. The room beyond had no corners, its walls curved inward like a throat. The floor dipped slightly toward the center, where a single chair waited beneath a flickering bulb. Something was etched into the walls, words scratched deep enough to bleed rust. You left, but you did not finish. The chair creaked as I sat, though I had not yet touched it. The light above swung gently, And with each pass, the room changed. Old furniture appeared and vanished. Cracks formed and healed. Shadows lingered longer than they should have. Then the voice spoke, not aloud, but from the inside of my chest. You gave me your fear, it said. You promised to come back. I remembered then. The nights spent hiding here. The whispers I fed with my attention. The stories I told myself so I would not feel alone. I had not escaped the house. I had abandoned it. Chapter 4. Memory is a doorway. The walls began to close in, not fast, not dramatic, but patiently. Images spilled across the surface of the room. Every secret I buried. Every lie I told myself. Every moment I chose silence over truth. The house was not alive. It was unfinished. I burned you, I whispered. The voice replied, calm and certain. No, it said. You moved away. The chair sank into the floor. The bulb shattered. Darkness pressed against my skin, warm and familiar. The house did not want my body. It wanted my remembering. Chapter 5. The key returns. I woke at my kitchen table, the envelope open in front of me. The key was gone. On my hands were thin lines of soot, pressed into my skin like fingerprints that did not belong to me. My reflection in the window looked slightly wrong, as though something inside me had shifted its weight. Outside, the street was quiet. Too quiet. When I reached into my pocket, my fingers brushed cold metal. A second key. Smaller. Newer. Still warm. And somewhere, a door had just learned my name again.